Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. Wrestling Paradox Podcast is where it's at tonight. And I'm riding a little solo tonight, but I brought in somebody that's definitely going to keep y'all entertained. And that's, you see him up there, and that is Sage Scott, but we'll get into that in just a second. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys check out our sponsor, Marcus Andrade over at M&J Ecological, 305-697-2258. Marcus is doing his best to keep our areas clear here in Miami, in the South Florida area, of all these iguanas and lizards and all these reptiles that you don't want. So if you got any problems, make sure you guys give Marcus a call, 305-697-2258. Make sure you guys check out CCWFL on Twitter. That is Coastal Championship Wrestling in Florida. One of the longest running schools in Florida, going on 17 years. And we're actually about to hit one of their anniversary shows coming up here, March 20th, I believe it is, 19th or 20th. That would be CCW anniversary show number 17. You can check out a lot of big names on that card, and I'm gonna jump right into it with Sage Scott, man. What's up, brother? Welcome to Paradox, first of all.
Oh man, again, thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, definitely. We were supposed to bring this interview last week, and I know a lot of people were really looking forward to it. I had got a lot of calls about it when it wasn't posted, so this is a very big deal for all of us to get this interview out there, man. Because, dude, you are one of those. I never throw on the word enigma, but you're just like so different in the wrestling world, and something different to see. So that aura around you, people feel that presence when they walk in the room and you're there and they see you in a ring, and people are automatically glued to you 100%, just because of, like, first of all, I think it's the fact that you call yourself a cruiserweight. And I gotta, what do you weigh?
Man, it's so funny because I just did another podcast and everybody's trying to get this exclusive about how much I really weigh. First off, shout out to Aaron Nova for starting the hashtag Sage Guy's Not a Cruiserweight, which has taken off over the last 2-3 years. I never thought an inside joke would pop off like this.
Dude,
but
it's crazy.
It's got weight to the point where we should have a Mania match because of this. I mean, realistically, I could be anywhere from 200 to 220. Who knows? I don't know.
Okay. So you see, I'm a belt collector, and I have a belt missing right now. That was a Red Raw tag. You know, the who has it now? I forget who has it. But
Hurt Business.
And when I traded it, I got this new belt. And when I got this new belt, the first person I thought of was Sage Scott.
Okay, yeah.
And I went on WWE's website. They don't have Sage Scott side plates. So I was a little upset about that.
You know, we can always do some custom made things, you know.
I'm down, man. I'm down, bro. Best damn cruiserweight in the Indies right now. So nah, man. So to get back into it, man, and start this thing off right. First things first, where can people find you on your Twitter, social media, Instagram, Facebook, whatever you have? Throw it out there.
Well, my Twitter is Sage the Trillmonger, S Trillmonger, at S Trillmonger. The IG is Mr. A1 Sage Scott, same as my Facebook. So I'm doing both, and actually I'm starting to get more content on my YouTube channel, which I'll start dishing out that information in the coming weeks.
Dope. All right, cool. And now, so that's out the way on the social media side. Where are you? Because we're gonna get later in down the road on where you are right now in your career, but where do you reside as an indie company? Where can we find you the most at, or where can we find you at the next show? Things like that.
Man, I'm all over Florida, especially right now. And after recent events, I'm gonna be doing a lot of stuff. So I'm prevalently at WXW, like almost every show.
Okay.
I'll be popping up at CCW. Periodically. If
that was the next question. Are we going to see you at Anniversary? Because I think that would be an amazing treat for the CCW crowd.
Listen, not worried about the money, but if the match is right, I'll just roll out of bed for just whatever. Jake could tell you, man. I pick my spots. That's why it's like you said, an enigma, right? Or an anomaly. I kind of like fly by the seat of my pants. Whatever suits me, I go. If not, I got a little bit of that CM Punk vibe with me. I kind of like hang my hat right there.
I like it. No, definitely, man. To celebrate your birthday And to have that, you're only 30 years old, man. You still got your whole life. Like you got a long career to go in this business, and you wrestle smart. That's one thing I can say about you. I've seen plenty of your matches. You wrestle very smart. You're not a you see a lot of these guys now, they take advantage of being in a ring or being on a main show, and they're doing all this stuff that they don't really know how to control. Everything you
Right.
do in the ring, you have full control of,
Exactly. And
which is
like I said, yeah, and more or less that kind of it's funny you say that because it wasn't always like that, and it took a lot of trial and error. I talked to a lot of vets. Shout out to Eddie Torres, one of my many mentors in the indie scene. But I had a nasty accident at a ACW show, um, wrestling Snoop Strikes,
Mhm.
and took a nasty spill out on that and bust my head all open. Stitches inside and out. And it was in that moment I said, you know what? If I want to last, I got to stop being so reckless. You know. So it comes with it time because, like I said, I see guys what you're saying doing things that are kind of reckless, but it's just trial and error. They probably not been working that long, so just give them time.
Yeah, no, and yeah, Jake St. Patrick said the same thing. You look at someone like Jake St. Patrick, and the first thing you think of is that guy's high flyer, cruiserweight, jumping all over the ring. No, he's very well grounded, and he stays in the ring a lot. Like he doesn't
Mm-hmm.
go up to the top rope, and he'll go up, middle rope. Once in a while you can go up to the top, but that's not an often thing with Jake St. Patrick, and
Mm-hmm.
that's something that we touched on with his interview was
Mm-hmm.
someone like Mick Foley back in the day would go
Right.
out and jump off the ramp, which was 12
Mm-hmm.
feet back in 10, 12 feet back in the day, whatever it was. And he would
Mm-hmm.
jump off that all the time. And he would constantly be like, yeah, my elbow hurts, my elbow hurts, my elbow. But the crowd liked it. So
Right.
they wanted him to keep doing it. You don't see that so much anymore in this business now. If it
Mm-hmm.
hurts, people are gonna be like, all right, we're gonna take a step back. We're not gonna do as much because you want that longevity in your career. You don't want
Exactly.
to have to wrestle until you're 40 and then call it quits.
Exactly.
You
And
know?
that's exactly where I was going to go with it because we don't have the bag yet. You know what I mean? So in the end, is we have to pick and choose our spots. Everybody can't be Ricochet. Where you can go out and do all those hot spots and the crowd love you, become an indie darling, and then you get signed the next day. There's 1,000 guys that can do 450s and Canadian
Mhm.
destroyers and stuff like that.
I hate that move so much, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean,
That move
it's
irks
one of those
me.
things. It does, but it's one of the things that it's like a go-to pop move. Like, you know what,
Of course.
this match isn't going so well. Let's just pull one of these out.
Yeah,
And
Panama Sunrise. I mean, Adam Cole made it famous. I mean,
exactly.
I
I feel
Petey
he.
Williams made it famous if we're gonna get into it.
I
Uh,
feel. Yeah, I feel. But I mean, like you said with Adam Cole, that's actually one of my guys. I love him to death. I went to his seminar. I'm real cool with him.
oh, he's a great guy.
I think that for on the standpoint is I think that he should be the only one doing it. But I mean,
Goldust
you
doing
can't
it,
stop guys.
it doesn't sell for me, man. Seeing Goldust do it, seeing someone like Adam Cole do it, I believe it a little more. But when it's I don't know. It's just one of those moves, like you said. It reminds me of a super kick. Everybody's doing it now. We need to
Right.
bring that
But that's
back and save that.
but to go into Adam Cole, like he does it, he puts it in his proper context. When he does it, that's it. It's over. It's not gonna be a you do it and then another series of moves happens after that. No, something like that is devastating. People need to bring the real psychology back into this because like a DDT, Jake the Snake would do that and that was it. A lot of guys do things that should be finishers as setup moves, and it just takes the realism from what we do. And like you said, I'm not a big fan of that either.
Yeah, man. That's it's a little different, man. But I guess the show goes on.
Yeah, can't
It's
stop
what it's
that.
what gets the pop now, man. It's what you see it all the time, and uh, you know, I don't want to talk bad on anything because I'm a fan of all wrestling 100%, but I see a lot of it in AEW where it's just set up the next move and just
Mhm.
it's something that I think needs to get pulled back a little bit. But in right now, Tom, let's talk about your runs with Jake St. Patrick as a tag team.
Mhm.
And where did you first realize? Because I know you and Jake met at a seminar, correct?
Well, actually, we met for the first time at Tempe Pro, and we were thrown into a. It was a weird um, 6-way cruiserweight scramble match, which was funny because like literally nobody in that match was a cruiserweight besides probably Jake and maybe
That's
Santee. So it was one of those things where we're just gonna throw guys together and we're gonna tell the crowd they're cruiserweights. And you know, it was at the time it was supposed to be setting up for some belt that they were gonna get, maybe a cruiserweight title, I don't know. But yeah, me and him we went at it, and I'll tell him I kicked his ass. I definitely kicked it. Yeah. The first time we met, yeah, he met my
I think
clothesline.
his story was a little different. I have to go back and watch the show. It's a
Yeah.
couple episodes back. I thought it was different.
Well, we met there originally. That's the first time I ever seen him was at Tempe Pro. We was in a 6-way match, but worked with him. He was pretty good. He was really really good. I was like, you know what, me and this guy could probably be something down the road, which would then end up being a seminar we went to at WXW, and we was like, oh hey, what's up? We kind of like clicked from there, and we decided we were gonna go to the seminar. We were gonna like tear it up. We were gonna like show out, and we ended up being the two standouts. So much so that Alpha pulled us to the side, asked us all of our information, where you guys train, where you from, and he was like, you guys would be really good as a tag team. And we thought about it, and, okay, well maybe we can do that. And he ended up moving back to Chicago for a little while, and I started the Midnight Tribe down here. And it was like, if he ever moved back, no questions asked. I'm bringing him aboard because technically we have a faction. I know
Okay.
most of you guys see me and Jake, but there is actually two other guys that we roll with. So it's like I said, it's hard to book factions. It's hard to book the whole team, but we
Yeah.
try. We try, but mostly you'll see me and him doing our stuff together. But that's where it started at was WXW.
All right. Dope. Dope. Yeah, man. That's seeing you and Jake work in the ring together. You guys flow so smooth together, and I guess Alpha had it correct, man. You guys made a hell of a tag team, and uh, me personally, I'll dip a little into it. I messaged you, or no, I'm sorry. I believe was it you or Jake? I messaged. I forget. I get mixed up. I said, man, I really hope that they put you guys as a tag team on TV and just see the money that's in you guys, because I mean I've seen crowds of 100 people pop for you
Mhm.
guys. And I've always told everybody it's so much easier to work in front of 50,000 people than in front of 100 people.
Yes.
100 people, that's 100 like people with eyes on you. That's 200 eyes on you, and you have to capture that attention. And if you don't, one person can ruin it for 100 other people. And you guys have had
Exactly.
eyes locked on you, and you guys had amazing matches in front of that small amount of people, that working in front of 50,000 would be easy for you guys.
Oh yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
to know how well you guys work together and see that crowd reaction and that connection you have with the crowd is such an amazing thing that you really don't see anymore.
I appreciate it, man. That's high praise, man. I
No,
mean,
I'm serious, man. I'm not doing this because you're on my show and kissing you. I've been saying it
yeah,
forever. The money that's in you guys as a tag team, and when AEW brought him on, and then I saw your picture a week later, I was like, they did something right. They're bringing
right.
in a tag team that it can make them money.
It's so funny you segue to that because small disclaimer that what happened at AEW with me and him, they said that never happens. That's so I think we might be the first actual tag team that they ever brought in from
Really?
the indies. Because usually they just take two guys and throw them together.
Mm-hmm.
And we even got good feedback from Blake and Butch and Blade. So they was like, man, they wish it was an 8-minute match we worked them in because they said you guys we were just absolutely great. And it's like we've been pushing for that to bring more tag teams in. And like I said, we should be going back pretty soon. So I mean, clearly, like you said, we did something right. And like they said, that was like they said that never happens, man. They never bring in actual tag teams, two
Yeah.
guys who actually work together on the indies, who know each other, So
Yeah,
it was
he
a
had
blessing, man.
I had talked to Jake about it, and Jake had said he was like, "Yeah, they heard that we were a tag team, and they were like, oh, put them together." So that was he kind of gave me a little backstory, man. That was awesome, man. Yeah, I think it was you I messaged, and I was like, man, I hope AEW sees the money in that, because I remember I showed Jake. I had showed
Mm-hmm.
Jake in person. I was like, look, before, because I was like, Jake, this was before y'all were the tag team on the show, man. I was like, I'm telling, I've been pushing for it, man. I've been so happy for it. And there's always a long standing joke with our show that Cody watches our show.
Right.
So we have some reasonings why I'll put out the video soon. But some ideas that we have mentioned in weeks later, they pop up, and I'm like, I said that. I remember saying
Yeah.
that.
I might have mentioned that once or twice. Yeah. Not
I
bad,
talked
man.
about that idea, and now it's here. So
No publicity is bad publicity.
exactly, dude. Just send me some merch, man. Cody, just send me some merch. That's all I'm
That's
asking
it.
for.
That's it.
That new AEW Midnight Tribe shirt, I need one.
I mean,
Uh,
if they producing, you know it's gonna be lit.
yes, sir. Yeah. When's that action figure coming out, man?
Man, right? That part, I would love. I got boys; they would love that. Yeah.
Dude, that'll be amazing, dude. I don't know, man. I think you guys are gonna go very far in your career, and it's a pleasure watching you guys grow as a tag team and moving further and moving to that next level. And it was funny because before, and I'm not gonna ask you the same question because of the position you're in now.
hmm
And you don't know who's ever gonna watch this. You know, you always want to watch, make sure you say the right things and keep the right people happy. But
Right.
and like I said, I'm not gonna force you to answer it. But I asked Jake before, and I asked everybody else before, if you had the two contracts sitting in front of you,
Huh.
which one would you pick up? Equal days, equal money, equal championships, whatever it's in it is matching on both sides. Which one would you pick up? And I'm not gonna repeat his answer. If you want to hear it, you got to go back and listen to his podcast. But I wanted you to just know that I was sparing you that question just because I didn't want to put you in that situation.
Well, I know which one he picked. So I mean,
we'll talk. We'll talk when the mics turn off.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I already, because I that's one thing about being in a tag team. You should know your tag team partner. You should know how he feels, and you best believe we've had these conversations
I hope
a
so,
lot.
man. I really hope so because you guys have helped each other so much. It seems like, and hearing both you guys talk about the next is really cool because you guys are tighter than brothers. It feels like.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We spend a lot of time together. I mean, we don't live. We live about almost 2 hours away, but we make sure we don't let that stop us from interacting, whether it's through training, just hanging out in general, just knowing each other. That's I feel like that's a real important trait because anybody can go hop out there for 5 or 6 minutes, whatever, but you can, like you said, what you see that radiates out on the screen when or in person when you see us, that's a real genuine brotherhood.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what makes all the real great tag teams great because these aren't guys that just showed up, got a paycheck, all right, well, see you at the next show type thing. I feel like those ones don't last.
Yeah. And when you talk about tag teams, you have to be able to collaborate with that other person and work in such a way that the gears flow smooth.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw that really. So there was a long time there, and I know you saw it because you being a tag team wrestling or being a tag team wrestler now. I'm sure you've looked back on the times and things like that. We didn't have a good tag team for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like a dying art almost, and then
Yeah.
FTR showed up, and FTR really just like brought back that old
Old school.
school like feel of cutting off the ring and just working someone in a corner and hot
Mm-hmm.
tags, constant quick in and outs, and just that flowing. And as you speak, the gears, they roll so smooth. And
Right.
then I discovered, I didn't discover, but I finally started watching Butcher and Blade, and
Mm-hmm.
I love watching them, dude. The
They're
Butcher
awesome.
is amazing. Just he moves so well, and then Blade has probably the greatest physique in all of wrestling right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the guy just looks amazing, 100% in the ring, and then you look at someone like the Midnight Tribe, with you and Jake St. Patrick, again, another tag team that knows how to cut the ring off and stick to one corner and constant tags and just that true tag team feel. Any two schlubs can go out there and throw on matching tights and say, "Hey, we're a tag team," and it's like, all right, so let's see what you guys can do. And then they work completely opposite of each other and don't know how to move in the ring.
All the
So
time.
that's
All the
that's
time.
why I say that, to see you guys go to that next level and carry that from the indies to or from a seminar to the indies and now going up to the main show. I mean,
Right.
anybody who's helped train you guys has to be proud of that.
Well, I appreciate it, man. You
Yeah.
know that speaks to it. That speaks to all of our hard work. You know, because we've been working. Like we. This is like something that we really really want to do.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's showing. Like we talk about this ad nauseum. It seems like, you know, like we're always like bouncing off different ideas, and like it's almost like we never disagree on anything. So it's almost like, you know, even my own blood brother, that's not the case. So it's like I feel like it was meant to be. Like this is that's why don't we I told him, hey man, let's not fight this. Like this is exactly what we're doing right now is what's supposed to happen.
It's
You know,
organic. It feels
yeah,
right.
it's yeah, just flow with it, because it seems like all the stars are starting to align. You know,
Yeah.
all the hard work, even though, you know, sometimes we might have been down on our careers, or, you know, like, you know, everything's not happening as fast as you wanted to. Every wrestler goes through that, you know,
Yep.
but it's just like for us, it's like right at the right time, you know, especially considering everything that's going on in the world, like for that to be happening, like for us, like now, you know,
Yeah.
they have to like you know what I'm saying? Because there's so much more serious things that are going on. So for anybody that, you know, show us this kind of attention during this right now, that means you have to have something that they really really like, you know.
Yeah, definitely. You know, people are out here struggling to
Yeah.
hold jobs on rosters and to
Mm-hmm.
stay in that top spot. And what so I'm a WWE guy.
Mm.
I mean, that's just I grew up on it. It's like Michael, it feels like Michael and LeBron right now in the
Right.
wrestling world, you know.
Right.
And
Mm-hmm.
each one has their own fans, and I respect AEW for everything they do. And one thing I truly like about AEW is they break down that wall and they
Right.
open up. And when they brought someone like Warhorse in there, which was,
Mm-hmm.
you know, just kind of throws you back because if you don't know this guy in the Indies, then he's on national television. You're like, holy shit, who's this guy? You know, and then now they're bringing in people like you and Jake St. Patrick and Cameron McLeod Scott or Stewart,
Mm-hmm.
Cameron Stewart, another one that kid's 20 years
JD
old.
JD Drake tonight. I was like,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to see these people getting an opportunity and working their way through the indies is such an amazing
Amazing.
thing. And that's one thing I give Tony Khan credit for. He's great for that. He gives people
Yes.
a chance and he's saving impact. And I got faith for impact.
Ah,
Uh,
right.
dude, it
That's,
feels great, man, to have impact. It feels almost back. I'm like, give me aces and eights. Where are they at?
that's it, right? Bully,
Oh
right?
man.
Where are you? Where are you, Bully?
Yeah, right. Where's Bully at? Where's Bully? You know, we get D'Lo now on commentary, which is nice.
Hey, exactly. A little nostalgia feel right there.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
Definitely a Nation of Domination guy myself. So
Yes, yes, dude. Who was your favorite character in the Nation of Domination?
Farouk,
Farouk?
yeah,
Oh man.
I'm a. I mean, because everybody, their mom's gonna say The Rock. I'm like,
Nah, for sure. Yeah, yeah.
nah.
I'm a Mark Henry guy. I was always a big dude growing up. I was a big cat,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So seeing him on there, I was like, yeah, big guys, you know. It felt good, you know. So to see
Well,
someone who's big like me, I'm like, yeah, there you go.
I'm more of a talker. I've always been a shit talker. So it's like, you know, the way that Farouk went about his business, that was like, all right, I could see me doing that same thing, you know,
Yeah.
putting on a couple of younger guys, you know, carrying them with me, and, you know, just rocking, you know what I'm saying? Being that vocal leader. Because I was something I was, you know, even when I played football. So I can relate to that. I can relate to Farouk a lot more than pretty much anybody else in that group.
So don't let me forget your football career because I kind of want to touch on that a little bit. I want to first ask you a question about Farouk because you're a fan of Farouk, obviously.
Mm.
And this question always kind of gets me a little bit. Do you think Farouk gets the credit that he deserves for what he did for The Rock's career?
Well, it depends on who you ask. I mean, to the public eye, no. You know, to the ones who are true and dear, like to the culture, yeah. You
Yeah,
know,
I think
it's one
that's
of
so
those.
overlooked and so surpassed that people don't think like what when The Rock joined the Nation Domination, like Farouk was that leader for him. He really took him under the wing, and by Farouk getting kicked out of Nation Domination and letting The Rock
Mhm,
do that to him, that really put The Rock over to another level. And
exactly.
people just don't think about who was on the receiving end of all that. Oh, it was Farouk. And just
He was
no, I don't think he has enough credit, man, in that area of it.
he really does it. They kind of treat him like Craig Mack and The Rock is Biggie. He's like, oh man, I'm about to
Damn,
push you to the.
man.
That's what it looked like, you know. That's like, man, you
Damn.
know, we want you to be the guy, but we got this dude back here, you know. He's kind of
Right.
gonna be a big deal one day.
As I got older, I was a big Mark Henry fan. Now I find myself a huge Godfather fan. Don't ask me why.
Well, I mean, I can kind of put two and two together with that one, brother.
There you go.
Two and two
Hey, he's
together
the
with
man
that
now.
one.
I don't know if you see. I got a cameo from him one time. It was amazing. It was awesome.
Oh man,
He's great. I gotta find
really?
it. I gotta find it. Yeah, I have to find it on my phone there. Uh, but
Papa
yeah,
Shango.
yeah, man, yo, I don't even want
Yeah,
to touch those storylines of the Ultimate Warrior. That was such a horrible time in wrestling.
yeah. You know, he recovered. He recovered though. He
He did,
recovered.
yo, he did. Man, I could talk hours on it about Farouk and the Godfather and all the whole time period.
Mm,
But back to you, man, and your football career.
mm,
Because I want to transition this into where you found wrestling.
mm.
So I want you to take me through high school, football, college, whatever, and then take me into okay, here's the turning point for wrestling.
Well, it's weird because like I was always a big wrestling mark. Like I was that guy walking around school just like giving out random sweet chin music and stuff like that. You know, just popping people by the locker, just bam, you know, just hit them out of nowhere, just whatever.
So
You know,
flying elbows.
books flying, paper flying, because I was, you know, class clown, but I also was like, you know, more of a jock too. So I played around with just enough that I could, you know, still play ball. So, you know, and people knew I was a wrestling mark. So I was still playing my football, and I didn't know there was any avenue to, you know, to possibly be a wrestler. So I didn't never take it seriously. Even when I wrestled in high school, I didn't take it seriously. I felt like that was gonna be a dead end. Like, you know, I'd wrestle in high school and then, you know, that'd be it. You know, hindsight being 2020, didn't know that you could, you know, do all the avenues, and you know, you could literally have took that all the way to the WWE, like Brock Lesnar and Shelton Benjamin and stuff.
Yep.
I didn't know of that stuff. I just knew that, you know, hey, $28 sweep. I mean, I'm taking it up the gut. You know, that's kind of me. You know, so
Yeah.
to make that story, to shorten that story up, I kind of was just, hey, I'm out there, I'm playing ball, whatever. I'm doing the USF thing, and it didn't really pan out the way I thought it would. So I end up at a JUCO, and I'm like, okay, well, I think the football thing's starting to spiral. This story is kind of sounding like The Rock a little bit, but trust me, it's a little different. You know, I'm doing
Yo.
I'm doing a JUCO thing, and then like, you know, I didn't know anything about schools, you know, but everybody knew that. Again, this is when me being a wrestling mark kind of helped save me. So it's like, hey, I'm starting to get all these guys in the Florida area just, you know, hitting me up through my DMs and you know, sharing things and tagging me in it. And like, hey man, there's these schools, there's a school, you know, and it's like I'm looking at the price. I'm like, you know, this is affordable, because you know, I did look into a school back in my earlier years, you know, but you know, it actually was Team 3D, you know, and back in Kissimmee, when it was in Kissimmee, Florida. And I'm like, yeah, I definitely don't have like that kind of money to just
Oh
throw
yeah, I'm
down.
sure. I'm
Yeah,
sure
it
those two
was.
back in the day, that was
Oh man,
not cheap.
the money was like, I actually had a book where I had all these schools written down, you know, but I was like, yeah, the money would have never added up at that point. So I kind of like, just, you know, whatever. I'll go back to playing football. So I got tagged in one school. It was ended up being a WWN Academy. I'm like, okay. So I went out to the Hudson, drove out there, checked the school out, you know, just being in that atmosphere for the first time, like seeing dudes do rolls and go through drills, like childlike exuberance just started
It
flowing out. I'm
hit you.
like,
You
oh
were ready
man,
to go, man. You were ready
yeah.
to
I'm
hit the
like,
ropes.
yeah, I'm like getting that. I'm getting hyped. Like I'm about to get ready to play a game or something. I'm like, you know what? This is, yeah, it's back. Okay, so now I know what I need to do. Okay, yeah, you telling me that after 6 to 9 months I'll be out there doing what I love, what I always want to do from the get go. Just never had a real avenue to get to it. Yeah, all right, I'll pay the 150 a month for this. This is not a bad. It's not a bad deal. Not a bad deal at all.
Well, I'm very happy you took that deal and then you took that to the next level, man. So good job, man, on making that proper turn on where you wanted to be.
Appreciate
Um
it.
Yeah, man, for sure. Can I ask you a question? Have you ever seen the movie Beyond the Mat?
The oh no, I almost watched it. I was like, you know what?
Because I
I
was gonna
think
ask you if you've seen like what those schools look like in the movie,
mm,
and like what people like Darren Drozdoff did to get into WWE at the time. Like
it's weird. I was gonna get ready to watch that, but then that I started watching that Dark Side of the Ring.
I
Yeah. So
no problem,
and I
no
got
problem at
hooked.
all, no problem at all.
Yeah, I got hooked. I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna watch anything like that's serious documentary, like that was like I like man, I'm like I can't wait for the next episode to drop. That was some intense stuff.
Yo, let me tell you, my wife watches Dark Side of the Ring with me, and
Hmm.
she doesn't really know wrestling. She loves Alex Ocean, and that's about it. Uh, uh, and she recently fell in love with Brian Cage as well. So,
Well,
but yeah, that's got to be normal, right?
yeah, as a body guy.
Yeah, that body guy. Uh,
Yeah,
but no, man, I was gonna say Dark Side of the Ring has just become one of the greatest shows right now, and the one thing I like about it, and actually WWE just announced that they're coming out with a new show, kind of like peeking behind the curtain.
hmm,
They're going to be able to control the narrative on what you see and
right,
don't see. Dark Side of the
exactly.
Ring gives you everything,
The whole kid and caboodle. Yeah,
whole thing,
nothing held back. They might
and
put the disclaimer right in the beginning, but it's yeah, it's
dude, let
very
me
eye
tell you,
opening. There's some things that I didn't even know. I was like, wow, yeah.
I really didn't know much about Dino Bravo, and then I watched his episode, and I was like, wow, like that's
You know what?
crazy,
You know what got me was the Von Erichs. Like I actually cried on that one. I was like, man, that is some sad stuff right there.
dude. The Texas
That
tornado, man, that kid. And then to do it on like your dad's farm with the gun that you bought him, and it is just so tough, man. I couldn't
yeah,
imagine like what the Von Erichs went through because they were rock stars.
yeah. And for
They were
that
rock
much
stars.
tragedy to hit one family with that much, like usually you get one thing, maybe two,
Yeah.
but for like that many different tragedies to happen to one family,
Yeah. And then when he lost his leg right before he went to the main shows,
yeah, yeah.
so it's
Kerry
crazy,
was
man.
supposed to be, he was supposed to be the man.
Hmm.
He was
I
supposed to be
still
the
think he
man.
was the man, yo.
I think it
He,
was too. I'm just
yeah,
saying, like it's like one of those King Griffey Jr. things where he's like,
yeah.
I want to be goat status, but I can't really, what I'm saying? It's like
You're right
injuries,
there, right there.
yeah, I'm like, I'm right there, like I'm this close to 24 hours from greatness, man.
Yeah, nah, man. The Von Erichs were something else, man. One I'm looking forward to, obviously, is Brian Pillman this season.
Oh,
Is
yeah,
I remember growing up, and I have like faint memories of Brian Pillman like wrestling a pencil, and just like things like, and not understanding
mm,
why. And then as I'm older, I'm like, oh, the pencil, the Booker, got it.
right.
You think about that kind of stuff. So,
I got the pleasure to meet his son too. He's a real cool cat,
dude,
real cool.
we've been going back and forth with Pillman on like a recording day.
Hmm.
And some days I'll hit him up and be like, hey, you available? Nah, I'm busy this week. All right, cool. I'll hit him up 3 weeks later. Hey, I got this, and it just kind of falls apart. So we're gonna get him one day.
Yeah,
Pillman
yeah,
Jr. I'm in his DMs.
right.
Um,
It's hard for the sign guys, It's hard to get the sign guys,
no,
that
100%. Dude, that's why like I'm so happy to be able to get someone like you and Jake St. Patrick, and we're trying to line up Brian Cage while he's down here in Fort Lauderdale. So we
mm.
got some things lined up, man, and it's easy to get the older ECW guys. That's the easy
Yeah,
part.
yeah, yeah.
Like, I'm getting
You
just
know,
incredible here in a couple weeks, and that's just nostalgia for me.
of course, it's gonna
You
be
know?
giddy. You'll be too giddy the whole time. It's
Yeah, exactly. I feel like a little kid, like you're like, yeah.
just
But so as far as you go, man, and now I want to kind of dig into what's happening now.
hmm.
AEW. Obviously, we talked about it earlier. The cat's out of the bag. You have wrestled your match for AEW.
Hmm.
With now, did you have a singles match before the tag match? You said
No, I didn't have a
you did
singles
not.
match.
No,
Jake had a few, and then we just
two,
started doing the tag
and
team
then
thing. Yep.
yeah, okay.
Hmm.
So what was that like, man, being back? Because you obviously being an indie guy, the production on our indie shows is not huge, obviously. You
Hmm.
know, locker rooms get a little small and places to change get a little tight. But there, you're at Daly's place. This place, it's I don't know. You see, kind of hear about WWE in the back, and it's this giant monster, and it's just so much going on. Was it like
Hmm.
that with AEW?
Night and day.
Yeah.
Night and day. It's totally, totally different. You know, I mean, with all respect, like it felt like, I wouldn't say an indie show, but it felt like home. Like it felt like you were welcome. You know, it was a real welcoming feel. Like everybody ingratiated themselves with you. It's like one of those things. It really made the nerves go away, because I mean, I'm like, he wasn't nervous obviously because he had been on there a couple times already, but me, I'm like, I just don't want to mess this up for both of us. So I'm like, patting my foot, in the car ride up. I'm like, well, when I get there, it's not exactly what I expected.
You go
Everybody's
to
just
that
so
back
nice.
door, like, yeah, yeah, Sage Scott, I'm on there, right? Yeah,
Right.
there I
And
am.
it's like weird because like everybody, I mean, we actually became, we became well known there just in one day because we decide we dress up pretty nice. We do the
Oh, of
little,
course,
we have a
dude. You
little,
guys look
we,
like $1 million, man. You guys
yeah.
hit that shit out the park.
And well, it paid off at AEW because we had Ricky Starks running around calling us the Migos and stuff. So it was, yeah, exactly right. So
Dude, oh
we
man,
we're popping the boys in the back with all our different little suits and stuff like that, all this different drip. So
that's
I
awesome.
mean,
And Ricky Starks, yo, Ricky Starks, that boy
yeah, to get that
dresses.
from yeah, him. That's why I brought him up. It's like, yeah, to get that from him, like King of Drip. Like, I mean, I felt like I was in the right company right now. I'm like, I'm in like this guy right here. He's just like, he's like the new Prince right now.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
the man. He's
Ricky
definitely
Starks
my
is the
guy. So
man.
and he was, yeah, and he had a pretty cool story. He was like, he fell in love with my vest that I wear. So I'm out there playing. I'm out there letting him try on my vest and whatnot, and he's getting fitted for it. And he's like, "Yeah, man, this is a dope vest you got. Where'd you get it from? So it's like, if like I said, it just felt like home. Like everybody was just so cool, and it really made my nerves. I wasn't nervous at all going at that point. When it was time for me to go out there and do our thing, I wasn't nervous at all.
That's dope, man. Yeah, it's not like the old days where you gotta walk in the locker room and hide your bag in the back, and hopefully nobody touches your stuff. And you hear the Undertaker in these interviews
Yeah,
calling these
right.
new wrestlers soft, and I don't think they're soft. I just don't think you guys are like dickheads how they were back in the day. And that's no disrespect to the old heads, but it was completely different. Times were different back then.
Right.
So
Exactly. You got to roll with the time. You got to roll with the times. You know, I mean, I kind of get where he's coming from, but it's not to the fault of the wrestler.
yeah,
It's to the fault of the times and the different climate that we're in. You can't, things that were appropriate in the '90s just aren't appropriate now. So it's a lot of give and take, and you got to toe the line with almost everything you do now. So
yeah.
it's
Randy
it's a hard.
Orton's.
It's like I said. So one might say,
Go ahead. I think we're breaking up a
I was
little
just
bit
gonna
here,
say,
man.
oh,
That's what's going
are
on.
you got me?
I think so. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You should be good. I just want to make sure. Yeah, yeah, we should be good. All right. You there?
Okay. Yeah,
All right,
bet.
perfect. Now we're getting a little more even on. Yeah, it's not like, back in the day, like Randy Orton just like shitting in Sable's bag. I don't think you could do that anymore. Uh,
No, you can't. You're not gonna be doing. Yeah, you're not gonna be doing any of that.
no, it's funny
You better
because like
stay away from the females.
this past weekend when we were in Tennessee, I know you weren't there, but Juice James was there. And for anybody who doesn't know, Juice James hates Dr. Pepper. So the entire night
Yeah,
I'm trying to like pour Dr. Pepper in his cup and trying to put it in his bag. And I was messing with the whole time, man. And I'm like, dude, like I was thinking, I'm like, man, if this was like WWE in the 90s, people would literally just crack open the Dr. Pepper and pour it in the bag.
That
And
was it. Yeah,
that's just what it was.
pranks. I mean, everybody you can't take a joke. It's wrong business.
No, yeah, but that's ridiculous to just like pour Dr. Pepper in the bag. Oh man.
That part, and put ice in it, and put
Extra
ice in there.
cold, icy, baby.
Extra cold, have a refreshing beverage in your bag
Yo.
when you get
So anyway, so overall, put me in your shoes right now. You're walking into AEW, your name's on the door, right? You're on the list to get in.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I walked into OCW and that's nowhere near the monster AEW is. This is a little indie promotion out of Ocala. I'm sure you know about
Mm-hmm.
OCW. Jake's
Yeah.
wrestled for him. I recently joined the commentary team.
Okay.
I guess they like the way I talk and they're like, yo, come do commentary for us every show. We want you up. I said, okay, not a problem. So I'm going out there, I'm doing commentary for him. And I walk in the back and my name is on the box inside. And I said, oh, feels kind of good. Walk right in and no one said nothing to me. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like, this felt good. But being
Right.
in that AEW locker, give me that feeling. What was it? Walking through the door, seeing your name on the list and saying, hey, I'm in here.
Man, I felt like a damn movie star. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a big old school kind of guy. Like, my name and my word is my bond. I guess that's everything to me. You only get one. And so to see your name, I don't care if it was just we need the way they had it, they have the match card up here. They have the people who got to take pictures. People who they need pictures from lined up on this bulletin board. So to see your name in any capacity in that kind of light is just experience that I'll never forget. And like I said, I mean, yeah, it's just to get me all worked up right now. Even thinking about it, just walking back there and just seeing your name next to like dudes who do this. Like they don't know they do this on a weekly. Like this is like it's nothing. But like to them it was to them it's nothing. To me it's everything.
Well,
So
I mean, dude, you do this. So it's like, I mean, you're doing this, you're not doing this weekly, you're doing this daily where you're going show to show to show to build yourself better and better and better. I mean, in all essence, you're working 100 times harder than those guys that have already made it because you're still trying to make it. And you're there now. You're right
right,
at the top. So
right.
you're clawing and you're ready to scratch and you're ready to kill for whatever you need and you're right there. So, yo, man, that's you made it. I mean, that's it. You're there now. When AEW saw you, they got to keep you
Yeah.
now because if they let you go, there's something wrong with them. I
I
mean,
appreciate it, man.
yeah.
I appreciate it.
Just keep your indie dates
Maybe,
for me,
maybe we'll
please.
know
Just
something.
keep your indie dates.
Oh yeah, of course. No, I don't want to be that guy. Don't be that guy. Well, start turning your nose up to the people that made you. You know,
Oh,
I don't. Yeah, don't be that guy because there are a few guys that are like that.
yeah. For me, one big thing that I can always say is I'm not a huge Young Buck fan, but I had a
Mm,
couple of their pops and I went to a Comic-Con down here in Miami and I saw them there. And I had two pops there,
mm,
two of the two packs, the purple and the red, the New Japan
mm.
ones, wrapped up in a Young Buck shirt, right?
Right.
And I brought it over to them and I said, hey, can you guys sign the pops for me? So they signed them both and then said, hey, do you want us to sign the shirt? And I was like, I didn't pay for that. I just paid for the pops. And they're like, we don't work for
Mm.
McMahon. And they signed the shirts. So I was like,
Awesome.
yo, like,
That's
I
awesome.
appreciate that. Yo, like you guys didn't forget. It wasn't about the money for them. It was about giving me that part of, hey, man, yeah, we're going to sign this for you. And, we're going to give you that memory of no matter what Jim Cornette says about it, I'm a huge corny fan. And it's just
Mm.
because he's a kayfabe guy. And I miss that
Right.
kayfabe era. And when he
Mm-hmm.
starts talking shit about the Bucks, that kind of irks me a little bit. I'm like, come on, man. They're not horrible. I can see what you say about their moves, but they're
Right.
good guys to the business and to the kids and to the fans.
Mm-hmm.
So it's those things. You don't want to forget who made you.
Right.
Yes, of course
And
you
they
made
gave you that.
yourself, but who got you there?
And they gave you that wrestling experience. That's something that you'll never forget.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Sage, man, I can't thank you enough for
Of
doing
course.
this. for us. And I have to ask, when is the next time we will see you that is not AEW?
That's not AEW.
When's
Well,
the
I'm
next time we're gonna see
taking.
you?
I'll be at GCW. Me and Jake will be taking on the Classic Tag Team at GCW, March 13th in Sanford, Florida.
Nice. Can we get you like a little more south? It's
I
the
won't be coming south. Actually, I'm the week after that. The week after that, I'll be doing Warrior Breed. I'll be because it's back up and running. That's gonna be in Hollywood, Florida. So yeah, I'm slowly moving down towards that CCW territory. Like I said, I don't know.
it's,
Maybe I pull up, maybe I don't.
how's hold on, how's it?
I I'm gonna keep you guys. Yeah, yeah. I'm dangling that carrot right now. You never know. That
I
way,
just
if I pull up, you're just like major pop. You're like, wait a minute, we didn't know you're gonna be here. Yeah, one of those things.
that's what we're waiting for, man. And that's anytime Sage Scott steps in the building, ladies and gentlemen. If you have not seen this man live in the ring, I suggest you go get yourself some AEW tickets, catch you a dark episode that he's gonna be on there, or find him somewhere in the state of Florida because seeing Sage Scott is seeing. I said it again. I said it before. I'll say it. Seeing an enigma in the ring. This guy brings something different. He is the largest cruiserweight in the history of the world. The largest cruiserweight.
Damn it,
Uh,
Nova. Damn it, Aaron Nova.
it cracks me up because you know what it reminds me of, and I always talked about it. It reminds me of when Sugar Rashad Evans, used to fight Rampage,
Oh yeah.
and they were both 205, but Rampage looked like he was 230, and he was so much bigger than Rashad. And it was ridiculous. It was his muscle
Mm-hmm.
definition. This guy was ripped out of his mind, and he was just an animal. And it's like I look at you, and I'm like, and I look at Jake, and I'm like, they're both cruiserweights. Nah, nah, not buying it. Not buying it, sir.
But don't make me pull out a Crash Holly. I'll
No,
start bringing the scale
you
out with
start
me.
bringing me to scale, super heavyweight. All right. And
It'll be
anytime,
a fixed scale.
I'm sure we can work some
It'll
out
be
in
a fixed
OCW,
scale.
CCW. I can
There
find a
you go.
cruiserweight to defend this.
I mean, why not? Why not?
Where's TJ Perkins when you need him, huh?
Exactly. Right? Right? Jeez. I would
So,
love to work that guy.
dude, he's amazing. All right, so I have two questions for you, really quick, if you don't mind. Um,
Okay.
Chris wanted to ask you this question. I don't know where it came from, but he wanted me to ask you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
What do you think wrestling needs now? More storylines or more matches that tell stories?
Hmm. More matches that tell stories. Because the storylines for me are all going to be rinse and repeat. You know, it's how many different angles, how many different storylines can you possibly create in a wrestling setting? Like every year, the story is pretty much repeated. The road to WrestleMania. It's the
Who's gonna
chase, the hill, the
overcome?
bay.
Who's gonna get to the
It's
belt? Yeah.
mm-hmm,
Yes,
but what makes you remember that year is the matches that led up to that, or the matches that were in that story. Why we love Rock and Austin so much for so many years, even though it was literally almost the same story almost every time they would do it. It's because they could tell stories, and every time they were in the ring, they had electricity. So if you can get two guys or two girls or whatever the case may be, or even a group that have good chemistry and they can tell good stories in the ring, that I feel like that can conquer it all. I don't care. I'll see the same story for over 12 months, but if we're telling a good story in the ring, I think that's what wins the day.
there you go, Chris.
Because
That
I'm
answers the
actually, and
question.
it's funny. I've actually people. And this to even add on to that, I've heard people say that a lot. They don't really care for a lot of the backstage commentary, backstage storyline. that part kind of like is like, just kind of like an appetizer to really what they really want to see, which is the in-ring action. So, I know just talking about WB in particular, I know it's, or wrestling entertainment, so you have to have the entertainment factor, but you can also just be entertained by just good ring work.
100%. And that's why I think AEW Dark is actually succeeding more than people think, because a lot of people just love wrestling and that's all they want to watch. Look at New Japan,
Yeah,
and look at New Japan doesn't do storylines. They just produce great wrestling. Obviously,
right.
storylines produced throughout the matches where Okada and Omega had that huge build up, and but they told the story
Hmm.
through the match, and that's what people love to see. And I mean,
Exactly.
so Sage, I think you answered the question amazing, and I'm sure Chris is gonna appreciate that. I'm not sure why you wanted me to ask that, and I'm gonna make sure that's about it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's about it. That's about it. So I'm not gonna ask
Okay.
those other questions. We're gonna leave those ones out. But
Okay.
nah, man, Jake, it's been a pleasure talking to you this entire time, man. Thank you so much for this, and hopefully, again, we get to see you soon down here in the CCW ring. Obviously, CCW is doing that new show where they're doing once a month at the Unbranded Brewery, and I know that they would
Mm,
love to have an amazing tag team headline that show, and Midnight Tribe might be that tag team.
I appreciate it. Well, maybe next time I'm coming on, we can maybe have me and Jake on at the same time.
As I
Make
was
it a
saying,
little, make it even more interesting.
oh, on here?
Yeah,
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes. I will take that
yeah,
every day, twice on Sunday. 100%. 100%.
yeah.
No, man,
Pick
definitely.
both
And
our brains at the same time.
yes. And hopefully Chris is up and ready to go by that time. Maybe his computer will be updated by then.
There
That
you
thing
go.
moved like 20% in like 3 hours. It was crazy. Um, So anyway, once again, Sage Scott, thank you so much for joining us here at the Wrestling Paradox Podcast, man. I really appreciate everything you coming on here and taking time to do this for us. I know we were supposed to do it last week, but unfortunately, unforeseen circumstances, and that led to this week. And you know what, man? I'm glad I did, and everything worked out great. So man, well,
I
I
appreciate you,
appreciate it
man.
again, man. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. M&J Ecological 305-697-2258. Make sure you reach out to Marcus, all your reptile needs, and make sure you guys reach out to CCWFL, or you can follow Sage Scott wherever you want to go. I can tell you right now,
Big old
wherever Sage
facts.
Scott is, that's where they're producing some of the best wrestling. I can promise you that.
Thank you, man. Big old
Definitely.
facts.
Sage Scott, I'm going to give you 45 seconds. Close out this show. The last thing these people are going to hear is your words. So please, whatever you want to end it with.
Well, I want to end it with, hey, listen, I just want to thank everybody who supported me over these years, who's supporting indie wrestling, who's supporting the culture, Black wrestling, because it's one of those things like and it's the end of Black History Month, so I figured I'd plug it, and it's near and dear to my heart, and like I said, I'm just hoping I'm doing my forefathers and the guys that came before me proud, and like I said, just keep supporting us. We hear everything. We I try to answer all the fan mail. I get a lot of DMs and a lot of. I'm not that guy who just won't say anything at all to people. Like I'll try to reach out to anybody who's willing to take time out of their day just to say hey to me. Saying because I won't forget the little people because the way I see it, I'm still one of those people, hardworking blue collar people. So just thank you everybody for the love and support, man.
That's it, brother. Hey, Sage Scott, I appreciate it, man. Thank you once again, sir.